Hello friends, welcome to IELTS with Seethal, and in this video you are going to learn 15 incredibly useful academic level words that you can use in your writing task 2 and speaking part 3. These are gold, you guys, so please learn all these words and try to use in your essays so that you can get a 7, 8 or even a 9 in your essays. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started. So our first word is vigorous. It's an adjective. Its meaning is a strong, healthy, and full of energy. Say, for example, a vigorous aerobic exercise. Okay, something that is very strong or healthy or that is forceful. Okay, such kinds of activities can be called as a vigorous activity. Okay, say for example, we have to use a sentence like, we need a strong campaign to reduce deaths on the roads. Okay, we need a strong campaign or healthy campaign to reduce the deaths on the roads. Okay, so we can simply replace the word strong by a vigorous. Okay, so as to get a higher academic level sentence. Okay, so the sentence becomes, we need a vigorous campaign to reduce the deaths on the roads. Okay, so learn the term vigorous, meaning strong, healthy, and full of energy.
It'll be your most vigorous training yet.
Getting lots of vigorous exercise.
Our next word is fallible. 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 Okay, its meaning is faulty, weak, or error-prone. Okay, so something that is capable of making mistakes or being wrong can be called as fallible. Right? So, for example, we can say experts can be fallible. Instead, experts can be wrong, or experts can be faulty sometimes. So, experts can be fallible sometimes instead. Okay? Then, in essays, we can write, say, for example, youngsters are so inexperienced, so they are more likely to produce faulty results. Okay? Say, for example, we have to write such an example sentence. Alright, so instead we can write it, youngsters are so inexperienced, so they are more likely to produce fallible results. Okay, so use the term fallible instead of faulty results or wrong results or weak results. Okay, so fallible meaning is weak, faulty, or error prone. Okay.
And they're all fallible. I made a mistake.
It's
Fallible and flawed. And if he's fallible.
Our next word in this series is eradicate. Eradicate is a verb and its meaning is to destroy completely or to put an end to. If we put this in a sentence, then this disease can be eradicated from the world. Okay? And its noun form is eradication. Eradication. Okay? Completely get rid of or elimination is the meaning of this term eradication. Okay? So let's see an example sentence. The vigorous application of this solution would result in the complete eradication of the said problem. Ooh, that's a band 9 sentence. Okay, the vigorous application of this solution would result in the complete eradication of the said problem. Okay, so learn the term eradication means elimination or to completely get rid of.
And eradicate individual cancer cells.
Then eradicate them anyway.
The eradication of poverty.
Okay, our next word, that is the fourth word, is feasible. It's an adjective and its meaning is possible or achievable, practical. These are some of the meanings of this word feasible. Okay, so let's see an example. That is, it may be feasible to clone human beings, but is it ethical? Okay, so instead of using practical, we use the term feasible. So it may be practical to clone human beings, but is it ethical? Okay, so that term practical can be simply replaced by feasible to get a more attractive sentence, more impressive sentence. Okay, then the next example sentence is educating the criminals and not giving them punishment does not seem to be achievable. Alright, so instead of that achievable, we put the term feasible. So let's see. Educating the criminals and not giving them punishment does not seem to be feasible. See the difference? Is it impressive? Okay, so try to use this term feasible instead of practical, possible, and achievable. Okay?
Well, that's mathematically feasible.
The next term is susceptible. 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 Okay, it's an adjective and its meaning is vulnerable to or prone to. Okay, or likely to or liable to. All these are some of the meanings of this term, susceptible to. Let's see some of the examples. Okay, patients with liver disease may be vulnerable to infection. Okay, so the same sentence can be written in different ways. Okay, let's see. So patients with liver disease may be vulnerable to infection. The second form of the sentence is patients with liver disease may be prone to infection. Okay, the same sentence can be made more impressive by using the term susceptible. How is it? Let's see. Patients with liver disease may be susceptible to infection. Okay, susceptible is the meaning of that term is prone to, likely to, or vulnerable to. Right? So, susceptible.
These robots are not susceptible to intimidation.
I am susceptible to flattery.
Our next useful term is abrupt. It's an adjective and its meaning is sudden or unexpected. Okay, something that is that happens sudden and unexpected, that can be called as abrupt. Okay, so I was surprised by the abrupt change of subject. Okay, you can use this term abrupt in your academic writing task 1 as well. In writing task 1, oftentimes you can use this term to show the sudden increase in something. Okay, so let's see an example. Here was an abrupt increase in employee turnover after the strike. Okay, so the abrupt increase. Here, abrupt is an adjective. Okay, that is instead of using sudden increase, you can say abrupt increase. All right, let's see another example. The number of tourists visiting New York increased abruptly in October after being constant for the last 3 months. Okay, here the term abruptly is an adverb. Increased abruptly. Okay, so instead of increased sharply or increased suddenly, you can use the term abruptly. Okay, so the number of tourists visiting New York increased abruptly in October after being constant for the last 3 months.
Was that too abrupt?
That was abrupt.
Jeff Skilling abruptly resigns.
So the next term is a simple term, adequate. Okay, its meaning is enough. Okay, so it's an adjective and its meaning is enough, satisfactory, or acceptable in quality or quantity. Okay, so adequate. Let's see an example. This office is perfectly adequate for my needs. Okay, and flying in darkness without adequate training is a major cause of light aircraft accidents. Okay, so instead of using enough training, we have used the term adequate training so as to make it band 8 or a 9. Then let's see another example. It is important for a nation to have an adequate mix of monetary and fiscal policies. Okay, so monetary and fiscal policies means something that is related to government revenue, especially taxes. Okay, monetary and fiscal policies. That's again an interesting expression to use. Right? So it is important for a nation to have an adequate mix of monetary and fiscal policies. Okay, so learn the term adequate.
Adequate, adequate. Adequate.
Yet another interesting term is incessant. Incessant is an adjective and its meaning is a non-stop, ceaseless or constant. Okay, it is used for something that is regarded as unpleasant and it continuing without any pause or any interruption. Okay, something that is non-stop. Let's see an example to make it more clearer. Okay, so the incessant beat of the music. The incessant beat of the music, which means that the non-stop beat of the music. So it is something unpleasant or it's something negative. All right. So for that negative implication or some unpleasant situation, we use the term incessant. Okay, which means its meaning is non-stop. Another example is the government should take initiative to end the incessant crime with a neighborhood watch program. Okay, so the government should take initiative to end the non-stop crime with a neighborhood watch program. So instead of the non-stop, the word non-stop, we have replaced by the term incessant. Okay, so incessant means non-stop, ceaseless or constant.
But your evening was ruined by this incessant poll taking.
Blast these pigeons and their incessant cooing.
His incessant suffering will be a strength.
Please do subscribe my channel IELTS with Seethal and click the bell icon so that you will be updated of my every informative videos. That's all for today, you guys. Keep watching this a couple of times, several times, many times, okay, and learn all these words and try to use them in your essay. Bye.